this is just part and parcel of what Republicans are doing across the country. In Georgia, Republicans, state GOP members are attempting to change the rules as it pertains to how a grand jury is summoned in terms of election fraud. In the case of Donald Trump, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis has let it be known that she intends on investigating Donald Trump's interference in the 2020 election. To circumvent that investigation, Republican state officials have introduced a bill that would dilute the power of Fulton County, which is predominantly black, which is the county that overwhelmingly helped Joe Biden win the 2020 election, at least for the state of Georgia. They have introduced a bill to dilute that grand jury process by opening every single account of an investigation into election fraud open to all of the counties in the state of Georgia. What that does, obviously, as the state of Georgia is about 32% black, it opens it up to conservatives and white conservatives, particularly, who have a vested interest in protecting Donald Trump. And so here we have yet another example of it's not enough for them to try to overthrow the country on January 6th. They're also trying to change the rules to protect Donald Trump from prosecution in the state of Georgia. We see this time and again. We've seen the Republicans in the state of Georgia, and quite frankly, across the entire country, being willing to not only bend the rules, break the rules, and try to rewrite the rules in order to protect their agenda. But in this case, these rule changes are specifically designed to protect Donald Trump from prosecution, because as we all know, if you get the type of grand jury that you want, then it's very likely that no charges will be brought in the first place. So this is an attempt of the Republicans in the state of Georgia to handcuff the hands of the Fulton County DA and to prevent her from looking into the very clear cases and possible cases of election fraud, because Donald Trump actively tried to overturn the results of the November election. Cenk, I mean, and Helen, as we look at this, it's not a surprise. I think the question really is how far can they go? They do have the House, they do have the state House, they have the state Senate, and they have the gubernatorial seat, but they will need a supermajority to overturn or to change this rule. They don't have that supermajority, but it is a shot across the bow. It is an attempt to let it be known that if anyone investigates Donald Trump, then quite frankly, they're willing to change the rules to protect him.
So look, I was gonna say, Ben, that the Republican Party is just flat out turning into a criminal party. And they're celebrating the destruction of law and order and rule of law. And it feels deeply ironic given their rhetoric. But I realized as you were talking, that's actually not exactly right. They've always been a criminal party. At least the right wing has. So let me explain. When Martin Luther King and the rest of the civil rights movement was doing civil disobedience in the South, King in his speeches would point out that they actually were not breaking any law. They were on the side of federal law. And eventually the federal government had to bring in the National Guard to enforce the law, because the people breaking the law were the local sheriffs, the local politicians, and saying, no, we will not follow the law because we hate black people that much. Now, that was the case back then. Now, Republicans are saying, if it means touching our beloved dear leader, we don't want to follow the law. But we were using the law to basically oppress you guys. That's what we meant by rule of law, right? And so if it means that we have to be equal and pursue actual justice, right wingers in this country are saying we're out. That's not what we meant by law and order. We meant, put a baton upside the head of a minority. We did not mean actually arrest our leaders if they break the law. And so they're now just brazen. They're just raising their hands and saying, yeah, we're gonna try to make sure that our criminals are never caught.
I have a thought about this. So I love chocolate cake. Chocolate cake is one of my favorite things to eat. If I poured an entire glass of water onto the top of a slice of chocolate cake, it would be gross. The chocolate cake in this scenario are the black voters of Georgia, and the water are the white voters that are trying to dilute the black voter population of Fulton County.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah.
And that was a curious analogy.
It was a weird.
I hung on as long as I could to it.
Yeah, it was a weird analogy.
I mean, it would have been a little easier if you had like, maybe German chocolate cake or like red velvet cake, or but no. I mean, but the point remains, right? This is literally what they're trying to do.
Dilution is wrong, is what I'm saying.
Especially when it comes to chocolate cake. Do not water down your chocolate cake, and don't water down, I can't believe I'm gonna tie it back in. Don't water down the black vote, right? And this is exactly what's happening. I wanna read a tweet for you from Anthony Crease. He is from Georgia, he's an attorney from Georgia State University. And he said very candidly, he said, quote, "This is an attack on black political power. If folks engage in election misconduct in Fulton County, then they should face jurors who look like members of the community in Fulton County, subject to discretion of decisions by elected officials empowered by Fulton voters." Now, Fulton County is Atlanta. I mean, there's other cities around it, but Atlanta, it's overwhelmingly black. We call Atlanta Wakanda for a reason. It is the vibranium of the state. But they realize that if the charges are brought solely in the state, or in the county of Fulton County, or even DeKalb County for that matter, then Donald Trump does not stand a chance because the evidence speaks for itself. And Cenk, you're so right. We're at the stage of imperial decline, where the white supremacists in this country say it is not enough for us to be on a level playing field, but if by chance minorities and marginalized communities get an opportunity to have their voice heard and we don't like what they have to say, we will march up the steps of the Capitol and attempt to overthrow the entirety of this democratic experiment for the sake of our bruised ego.
Yeah, so for hundreds of years in this country, we've had white juries, and oftentimes exclusively white juries, put away black people. And as it turns out, oftentimes they weren't guilty at all. And they had almost no evidence. The prosecutors, well, how do we know that? We know that because a lot of them have been let off because the DNA evidence proved that they were not guilty, let alone what we did back in the day. My God, I have no idea what a minuscule percentage of those folks were actually guilty, right? So when whites get to judge blacks, everybody's cool with it in America. But a black jury judging a white person, whoa.
Flag on a plate.
Yeah. No. Where's my water? I gotta water down that chocolate cake.
Right? You guys made fun of the analogy, but somehow it's clinging on.
Helen, I'm gonna be talking about watering down chocolate cake with water in a bottled water. What is it? What kind of water are we talking about?
I'd say it's Texas water that's not drinkable right now. I would say that's the water we're talking about.
That is pretty accurate.
Yeah. So one last thing to Helen's substantive point. So it's not just dilution, they also do preemption. So this affects a lot of issues. So a city will pass a law saying, hey, $15 minimum wage. And for example, Philly, Pittsburgh, etc. They will do, we talked about this on yesterday's show, paid sick leave, especially during coronavirus. Pittsburgh will pass a law saying, yeah, you get 2 weeks off if you have coronavirus because we don't even want you to come in because everybody else will get sick, right? Then the state of Pennsylvania, filled with Republican legislators, will go, no. If black people are making laws, whether it's in Philly or Atlanta or wherever it might be, we're just not gonna let them. So you have to go into work sick, you will not get higher wages. And if you dare try to prosecute our beloved tyrant, we're just not gonna let you do it. So look, if you care about equal justice in this country, you're nuts to vote for a Republican anywhere. Make sure they do not win, otherwise we'll never have equality.
I mean, this is not even dumping water on a chocolate cake. This is taking a dump on the chocolate cake at this point. I mean, come on.
Just when I was wondering, how can this analogy get any more unfortunate?
Yes, I went there.
Okay.
I have nothing.
That's Helen's tagline. Helen Hong, she'll go there.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.